To everybody who's been liking the videos so far, we thank y'all. You guys liking the videos has kind of helped us start to grow the channel even more, so we appreciate it. To those who have not, please, we ask you, hit the like button before you even watch this video. It helps us grow the channel, helps people learn about us, and allows us to make more great content like this. So that's all we got. Thank you for helping us grow this channel. Hit the like button right now, and on with the show.
We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and wanna grow, so go ahead and download. Every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin, so we share information and honest discussion and keep repping a culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry, but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against the team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit.
All right, folks. Super Duty Tough Work, the most infamous podcast on planet Earth. You know, we've been telling you we're going to do more interviews. Here we are, doing more interviews. Got a special guest with me this week. His name is IMAKEMADBEATS. You may have heard of this gentleman. He produced one of my dopest songs, Perspective, in my catalog. Some people thought I made that beat. I didn't. This man posted it on his Facebook timeline, and I was like, yo, what's up with that? Who's using that? Is that spoken for? And he sent me he sent it to me, and made a classic. And so, I've been wanting to have his brother on the podcast for a long time, but today, I'm going to have him on, and we're going to talk about something that he's doing right now. He's doing a lot of interesting stuff, but one thing he has done for his crew and his collective, Unapologetic, is he has created an app. And I get asked a lot about it. I've had many questions about artists creating apps, but I wanted to have somebody on who really understands it, because he actually was hands-on with it, And so we're gonna, get deep into that conversation, and we talk about it today. And I hope y'all get something out of this. So, IMAKEMADBEATS. How you doing today, sir?
What's going on, brother? I'm all right. How you doing?
Man, I'm great, man. It's good to be here. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. It's great to be here. It's an honor.
Things have been popping for y'all lately.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Been nothing but a blessing. It's cool because, my liberation in music really came from like a producer passive income approach to things. And it's cool, when the pandemic hit, surprisingly, all of that just turned up, and I'm just, blessed again. Like, thank you, for these opportunities. So it's been pretty cool.
I feel like that might have been the last time you and I talked. It's probably around February, January, beginning of last year, wasn't it?
I think it was in March. Yep.
March. Okay. Yep. Right when everything just shut down. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
Yeah. It's dope. Like, you guys were, there's a new Gillette commercial that features the music from one of your artists that you co-produced, Cameron Bethany.
Yeah.
That's a good look, to say the least.
Crazy look. I'm gonna be real. When they hit us up, first of all, I didn't believe the email. You
thought somebody was trying to prank you, like,
because it came straight to us. Like, there was no middle person or anything. It was Gillette, like, hello, we would like to use your music, and it was just like, all right, I don't believe this. And then I checked on it. I remember we even let the email sit for a couple of days. Like, is this real? And but it's cool because I I've had a lot of stuff published to TV and commercials and all that type of stuff or whatever. But early on, when most of those things happened, I was working with a publishing company in Manhattan called The Wolf.
Okay.
And so they were taking the publishing, and I would take the writers, and then whatever sync came from it, they took that as well.
Yeah.
And so I was just honestly just getting out of college. I'm like, get these checks, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Yeah.
But when you when you get a little bit older, you got a family, you start looking at them checks like,
I need a little bit more of that. I don't know about these splits.
Yeah, man. Is there a way? I've been doing this long enough. Is there a way I can get more of this? You know what I mean? More of this split.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just create my own publishing company and try to use the fact that I've been providing these media outlets with music for years as a direct way in to create my own relationships.
Yeah.
So I had to get out of the deal with The Wolf, or get my music out of that deal. Created We Are Unapologetic Publishing and started to move from there.
That's amazing. Yeah, but that's a whole episode. And I'll probably have to have you back on just to talk about the publishing side and placements, because you've been doing it, like you said, for a long time and doing it well. And you've been on both sides as just an artist with a deal, and now having these direct connections with, these entities who want to license your music, which is dope. And but yeah, that's gonna be probably an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation.
It's a deep one. It really is. It's
deep. But today, I want to talk about, first thing I want to talk about is just, your collective, Unapologetic. Now, explain to me, because you've always been a hip hop producer and you worked with a lot of guys, but what made you decide, okay, I want to form this collective? Was it something deliberate, or did it just kind of form organically?
So, I'm a ridiculously team-oriented person. I have two brothers. I'm the youngest, so I wasn't going anywhere without somebody next to me. Somebody sleeping next to me. Somebody, and I was the littlest too, so I had to sit in the middle and all of that stuff. But I'm a very team-oriented guy. And for a long time, I was just talking about this yesterday on Facebook, actually, how much I just saw myself as a background guy. I never saw myself as the main guy for anything I ever did. Feeling like the main guy, it almost felt vain to me, right? That's a whole nother conversation of issues. Yeah. We'll skip that.
I get it, bro. I don't know how I got this. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right here.
It's real.
The game. I like to tell myself that I didn't choose the game chose me.
That's exactly how I feel. That is, in fact, the game, it was certain of me because it kept choosing me no matter how much I said no. Like,
right.
It kept finding a way to say, nah, dog, you supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, when I moved back to Memphis from Brooklyn, which is where I was living before, I was living in Manhattan. That's where I got my professional start. Brooklyn and Manhattan. When I got back to Memphis, which is where I was raised, I was really inspired by what I saw. I'm not gonna lie. When I left here as a kid, high school kid, I left Memphis. Everything was 3 6 Mafia. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of love for 3 6. I grew up listening to them and the early essences of trap music too. But at the same time, I'm playing Tribe Called Quest. I'm playing, I'm playing whoever. I'm playing Diggable Planets. I'm playing, Onyx, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing I'm playing from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stuck on one sound. But Memphis very much was. And so, when I came back, I was expecting that to be the same, but just an updated version of that, which is Yo Gotti oriented. Is everybody to be on Gotti or everybody to be on Dolph? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I came back, I remember for like the first year I was here, I was just straight underground in the basement, just working remote, working with artists and working with people. I was just working to myself for the most part. I went out to a show. One of my friends dragged me out to a show here, underground hip hop show here. And I met this kid named Pro. And And he was ridiculous. I was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like his style was so different. The stuff he was rapping on was different, you know, and it made me feel like, wow, is there like an undercurrent of people willing to push the bar here in terms of what can come from this place and this community, right? Because even when you look at national publications, when you look at Complex and blah, 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 all the rappers they talk about that come from Memphis, you know, they fit this, they fit this mold, you know? And so, my brother and I, Zarism, when we were growing up here, you know, we called ourselves the strangers because we were just different. And everywhere we went, we were a stranger, you know what I'm saying? We were different from, you know. So I kind of felt like, man, you know, can I play a role in helping people who felt like me have a home here, right? But not have it limited to here either. Take it national, international.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's establish, let's not just be passionate and love doing it. Let's build economy off of it. Let's get this money.
Yes.
Right? And in a way that isn't necessarily dependent upon this community, because the world wants to hear what we create. And I got that whole edge from living in New York. Like, New York is the world. Like, it's not New York. You know what I'm saying? So that was essentially like the foundation of like why I think that was the intentional part.
Mm-hmm.
The unintentional part was just that what we were doing, what me and Pro were doing, without me trying that hard, it really essentially put a bat signal in the air for like anybody in our city who wanted to do something different. And I found myself surrounded by people with very unique tastes and ideas. You know, they would just come by the studio. They would come by here. Some of them would just sit around, and some of them would draw. They just wanted to, like, I'm making beats, and they just drawing. Like, they just wanted to be in the atmosphere. You know, and that eventually attracted artists like Cameron Bethany, who at the time, I didn't know, he was just a guy. He hit me up to pay me for a beat, you know, and he came through one day and he sang a hook on this beat that I made literally 30 minutes before he got there. I remember he was like, oh shit, Cameron's on the way. Let me make this beat right quick. You know what I'm saying? And I had these chords I had been thinking about, played them, put some drums on that shit. And he came through and he was like, yo, I love this. And he dropped this hook on it. I remember later that night, it was like midnight. He had left and my wife walked in and she was like, what is this? And I remember looking at the screen in Pro Tools being like, yo, I think we got something. I think we got something special with this guy. Like, this is...
Yeah, he's
this
incredible.
Is something else. Yeah, exactly.
Incredible. Like, and it's not hyperbole. Like, I hear him, I'm like, wow. This is he can't fail. He sounds so incredible. His voice is so beautiful.
I remember feeling like, yo, this is bigger than I was expecting, you know. You know, and then at the same time, like literally in the same time he started to come around, there was a sophomore in college, a guy named Kid Maestro, who had asked me to learn from me, to essentially be my assistant. Him and we built another studio in one of my other small bedrooms here.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, there was a guy named Aaron who he threw events around Memphis. And he was like, yo, man, like, I'm trying to throw some crazy events, Neem. Like, I want to work with what you doing. I was like, all right, cool. At the same time, there was this photographer named Catherine who, her eye is amazing for all things visual, you know? And it just kind of happened organically. Yeah. That was the beginning of Unapologetic. And we threw an event, a house party here. We invited about 60 or 70 people to it. Over 300 people showed up. It became a block party. Yeah. It was crazy. Like, wow. I mean, it was crazy. Like I can't think of a crazier. I mean, not even house party from Kid and Play was crazy as this. Like
that's super crazy.
I mean, aside from the Kid and Play dance,
yeah,
we didn't really get a chance to pull nothing like that off. But aside from that, it was amazing. People had to park blocks away to come to my house. I had never seen nothing like that before. I remember thinking like, I'm gonna get arrested. The cops was gonna come get me.
Yeah.
It was a crazy night, and that's what set it off. This amazing house party.
Well, thankfully, you ain't got the kind of fans who would shoot up your house.
Man, and I'm in Memphis, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
I know.
I mean,
the benefits of doing what you do in Memphis is that, all them other rappers can't do nothing like that.
Nah, it would have been a problem for sure. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it definitely would have been a problem. We definitely set an atmosphere, a culture that allowed that to happen.
So your role in because like we talked about, you're kind of the leader, though unintentionally.
Yeah.
How much of your role is artistic versus personal? How do you balance that, and what does that look like for you?
It's funny. I was talking to this. I was on this podcast a year ago, or 2 years ago now, because the last year has been nothing but pandemic. But I was on this podcast a while ago, and they asked me, how do I balance my life?
Mm-hmm.
And I told them the truth, which is that I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think that I am. I think I'm still finding my way in that balance of personal, artistic, and business. Because a lot of, if not all, maybe up until like the last year of our gains have come at the hands of me being all three. So I'm the lead producer and engineer. And I was the first guy to drop a project, Better Left Unsaid, which came out with a comic book and all this other stuff. And that really set the bar for what we were doing. I'm everybody's friend. Like, we're all homies. We all check up on each other. We're all good friends.
Yeah.
When I started this, I didn't have a kid yet. Now I have a kid, so the dynamic changed over time in terms of availability. And then also, the business deals, going out and getting these deals made and negotiating and all that stuff. Again, up until like the last year or so, it's been predominantly me. Out here doing all that stuff. So it's been tough. I'll say this, like, I had to make it was early last year, I had to make a real decision for myself, right? My overall goal is that I want people to be able to accomplish what I accomplished, but not having to go through what I went through, right? I'm an artist that supports his family with his art and his business. Sadly, that is much harder to achieve than it should be. And if there's any way I can change how hard that is for people around me who I know deserve it, I want to be a bridge to that. I want to take what I've accomplished and make sure others can do the same for themselves. And so, but I am also not going to martyr myself. I make mad beats. I need to make mad beats. You know what I'm saying? Like
You're making mad deals, but not making mad beats.
That for a year it was. For a year it was. There was a year where, I would walk into my crib. I got these 2 studio rooms here, and my 2 producers, Kid Maestro and C Major, before the pandemic, they were here every day, except for Sunday. Sunday's family day, 100%. You know what I'm saying? But they were here every day. And, I would be out doing some crazy business deals that, like, I should be, like, super pumped about and super excited. Like, yo, we about to be on this billboard, or yo, we about to do this and do that, right? I'm leaving these business deals, and, like, it's a triumph for my team. People about to get paid. I'm still sad.
Yeah.
Because I'm not at the crib making beats. And then I walk into the crib and C Mage and Kid Maestro are there, like, they just out there like, man, this shit is hard, bro. You heard this? I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. That's really dope, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's torture. You know what I'm saying? It's torture. But I came to the conclusion that I have to find a way to spread out these responsibilities, to delegate, to pull in the right people.
Yeah.
Because the best thing I can do for my team is be the creative that started this team. The whole reason everybody's here is what I did on my NPC. So
that's
real. That's the balance.
Yeah. So when it came to your audience, though, was there a point, I guess, after you did that house party where you kind of saw like, wait a minute, there's a city full of people who want to fuck with this thing? Did that open your eyes?
Absolutely, kid. Like that was the thing. Like I was okay, so I was leading on a hunch. I created Unapologetic with the hunch of like, I think there's more diverse taste out here than people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going places and I'm talking about like artists that I feel like are not mainstream, that are not trap, that are not whatever, blah, 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 you know, like super underground, super, you know, niche artists or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And like, people are like, yeah, his second album is even better than his first. And I'm like,
what you know about that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, wait a minute. I'm betting that there's like an undercurrent of people here waiting on different representation, waiting for something that is not the status quo, not what's on the radio. They're just waiting to celebrate that. They're tired of going to LA and Atlanta for this. They want to be able to get this right in their own community.
Yeah.
And in that party, we walked away from that party like, I remember everything was shut down. We had to tell people you had to leave. I was serving up. I make this pretty crazy Hawaiian ribeye steak. You know what I'm saying?
You was on the grill.
I'm really proud of my steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a connect from the hood who could give me these steaks for the low. You know what I'm saying? So I copped 100 steaks. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. We were serving them up. Anyway, when all this was done, all the steaks were gone. The team we laid out at the end of it, and we just kind of just looked at each other like, yo, this is the beginning of a movement. Like, like this wasn't just a cool night. Like, this is historical. Because nobody had ever been able to pull, like, after that was a record-setting house party. Memphis was lit for like a week talking about that house party. You know what I'm saying? On social media, every day, there's people just talking about that party. You know? And I remember thinking to myself, like, not only can we build a team and events and stuff off, we can build economy off of this. If we fill this pothole and we can build a brand off of filling potholes, right? Yeah. We may be able to rebrand what you can get from Memphis and be the leaders of that idea.
Facts.
You know? Yeah. So
worst come to worst, you can sell ribs and you know you got who's gonna show up.
I got these Hawaiian ribeyes on deck, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all catching these ribs. If y'all don't want this music, these ribs is coming.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got that on deck. By the way, take this mixtape. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Free mixtape with your rib slab. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, look, we're going to take a break real quick and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the app because you do have an app and you actually put in a lot of work to create and it's really dope and unique. And now that people know the story, I want to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of that. And so we'll take a break and we'll be right back. While I got y'all here, let me remind y'all about a few things we got back in stock on waitlist.net right now. First being the King No Crown movie DVD. This is a double DVD, deluxe DVD. One DVD, first DVD is the movie. Second is all the extra features. That's back in stock. It was out of stock for a while. This is my first movie. Came out in 2017. Free version, which is the clean versions on YouTube. This is the unedited version, dirty version, I guess, if you will, which is available now on waitlist.net. Other thing, 10 Traits of Successful Hip Hop Artists. This book came out about 2 to 3 months ago. So my latest book. This book breaks down the habits, the traits that you see across some of the dopest artists in hip hop. This is my 4th book. And so far, it's been my most successful. Amazing feedback on it. This book is here. If you missed out the first time, it's like $14 on the store plus shipping. We got deals that come with bookmarks with it, free stickers, autographs, all of that stuff on weightless.net. That's in stock. Other thing, more importantly, we've reissued the 2-Headed Monster vinyl. This vinyl is it was red on the first pressing. This next pressing is yellow. This is just now hitting. So if you haven't got it, head to weightless.net and get it. Sold out the first time in like 2-3 months. It's doing pretty good this time, but get it if you missed it the first time. It's on yellow vinyl. Comes with a download card. Also being restocked, has been reimpressed, is the 2-Headed Monster vinyl right here. Clear vinyl, 2-Headed Monster album. Same thing. It sold out pretty fast in 2018. So we just repressed it here. But you can get that at weightless.net. And there's prices, special bundle prices for all of this stuff. Now, what's already been in stock, which you probably already have if you don't, just so you don't know, King Crown vinyl. It's red vinyl. King Crown is double vinyl though. 2 pieces of double vinyl. But yeah, that's here. That's the record with Persevere on it. Dope record. Great Ideas Never Dies on this record as well. But that's here. And then last thing, which some of you may have or may not, is Vigilante Genesis EP, which is me and Aesop Rock on the production. This is available on vinyl too. But this one is blue vinyl. I ain't gonna open this up just to show you blue vinyl. Trust me, it's blue. But this comes with all the vocal tracks on one side and the instrumentals, which are produced by Aesop Rock on the B side. So that's it. If you got this stuff already, thank you. If you don't, if you want to support, go to weightless.net. Pick up your copy of any of these things on vinyl, any of the books, the movie. We have apparel as well. And thank you for your time. See y'all soon. Peace.
All right, folks. Super Duty Tough Work back again. Special guest, IMAKEMADBEATS of Unapologetic here in the house. I hope y'all are getting something out of this. We're going to start talking about this app, the Unapologetic World app. Worldwide, and let's talk about like what gave you the initial idea to create an app, because to me it seems like for most artists it's a leap to create a website.
Yeah.
Right, you talk to most artists like, man, I don't want no website, just go to my Twitter.
Yeah,
you guys took it a step further. What made you decide to do that?
Man, it started with, all right, let's make a website. That was the very beginning of it. I knew I wanted a space that wasn't social media, that could truly display, I think, on a deeper level, who and what we are. We're so why based, right? Mm-hmm. The why is everything to us. Like the fact that we're producers, rappers, singers, and that's like secondary. Yeah. The first and foremost thing is unapologetic, where vulnerability becomes art and weird becomes genius. Mm-hmm. And so it's important that message is front and center. So it started with a website thing or whatever, but like I'm addicted. I have this thing where like I just can't be doing what everybody else is doing. Like I just can't, like, you know what I mean? Like I just can't, like I can't do it. I can't, I can't even do stuff because it's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I got to be doing something else. Like, and for me, like, it's kind of like how I feel about VR right now, how I felt in 2016 when we created, when we were programming it. It didn't drop until 2017. But, I just felt like this is where we're going, right? And, this native experience, this native cultivated experience is where we're going. And I wanted to, instead of just doing it when everybody else was doing it, or when everybody else even knew you could do it, I wanted to do it when it's like, only magicians do this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then on top of that, I went to college for programming. So I was a computer science major.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel like I have this useless sheet of paper. I was just like, I might as well make it useful. Yeah, I think we talked about that. Yeah. So
every now and again, you pick up something like, can I do something with this damn degree? Let me just learn that, you know?
Yeah, I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, I wanted to, I'm really big on community. I'm really big on the why, and I'm big on community. After that party, again, before that party, I was just like, we're musicians. After that party, I knew this is bigger than music.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cultural thing, right? This is a challenge to the status quo. And that doesn't only happen in music, right? That happens in what you wear. That happens in what you see. That happens in, all forms of content, right? Challenging those ideas. Well, where was I going to put all that? Website, just didn't really entice me. But the idea that I can make an app and really carve out the experience of what it was to witness Unapologetic, and at the same time, the potential for carving that out for community.
Yeah.
Right? To somehow create lanes of either communication, visibility, et cetera, that wasn't just us focused. Right? That was the biggest thing for me. Like, that is 100% what pushed over the domino, was the fact that I could make something that people wanted to go see themselves in or discover other people in, that wasn't just me or us centric.
Yeah.
I had this crazy idea of like, one thing you should know about Memphis, for those listening, if you don't know, Memphis is a pretty G place. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not,
it's not Bel Air.
Real shit happens in Memphis, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's definitely not, Minneapolis. Shout out to Minneapolis. I like Minneapolis, but it's not that. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? And I found that like most of the things people wanted, most of the happenings that were interesting to us never made it to mainstream media here. They were either not cookie cutter enough, or they just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Right? It just didn't bubble up to mainstream media. So my first thought was like, I remember when Memphis was like the #1 city on First 48. You know what I'm saying? Like
every
like
damn week.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
when I was living in Brooklyn. Yeah. When I was living in Brooklyn, I'm never gonna forget this. I was living in Brooklyn. I went to my cousin's house in Brownsville.
Yeah.
Right? This is Brownsville. This the community that birthed Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was in Brownsville, and I'm down there, and somebody asked me, "Yo, where you from?" I said, "Memphis." They said, "You from Memphis?" I was like, "Yeah," and they was like, "It was real in Memphis, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just thinking he just maybe went to Memphis or some shit." He's like, "Nah, I be seeing that shit on First 48. Y'all niggas real down there." I was like, "That's what's up." You know what I'm saying? I immediately had respect. Like, and anyway, a lot of things happen in the undercurrent of Memphis, and so I remember thinking to myself, like, man, I would love to create an outlet that focuses on these things that mainstream media here won't cover.
Yeah.
I don't think we have accomplished that to the level that I would like it, because I'm still trying to find the right people to make that happen.
Yeah.
But that was definitely an early on thought. We did find ways to in-house make those kinds of things happen. So we have, we have characters like Nina. She discusses sex and all things, in that world. I'm a bashful guy, so I see it pop up in my app, and I just let it live. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like this full programming, though. It's like yeah. So did you ever consider outsourcing the coding of the app?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
Or you just like, you know what, I could.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, I'll say this, like, a big part of what I do is the belief that there is a pie big enough for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a big part of believing and serving to some extent is the fact that I want us all to win. Like the way that I win has nothing to do with anybody else. So, you know, like there's 6 trillion producers out here. I don't have any hit records, but I still win. I still take care of my family. I still can provide opportunities for other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't really look at like. Let me be clear. I'm a really competitive guy.
Yeah.
I just don't look at like. It's like if I were to give my drums to somebody else, I don't think you're gonna make the same beats I'm gonna make.
Right. And
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's kind of what I was kind of getting at, because it seems like most people would think this is gonna take time, but this person says they can technically do it, so I'm gonna hire them to do it, not knowing what they sacrificed in that is vision.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
the way that other person will do it is probably not going to reflect the decisions that you would make or your crew would make in creating it, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There are pros and cons. One thing about being, you know, any sort of leader is that you gotta figure out what you're willing to sacrifice that with or on, and what you're not. So there are some things where it's like, this is not gonna be 100% the way we would take it, but what I mostly need is that it's done.
Yes.
And then there are some things where it's like, nah, I need this done to this vision, you know, and to figuring out which one is which. And for me, the app was, nah, I need this done this way.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
So how long did it take, and how much of an undertaking was it building it?
It didn't take long. I think I started on it in like maybe September of 16, and we launched it in January
Of 17.
17. Yep.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Nah. It didn't take long at all. It was, you know, it was literally just working on it all day. You know what I'm saying? Just working on it all day, and once I did that, I had it done, and then it was just. We launched it when we dropped Better Left Unsaid. So the day we dropped it was the launch day of it. I had a release party downtown Memphis. Man, it was crazy. I mean, people wouldn't even fit in the venue. They had to watch through the glass outside. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, that's just wild to me. The fact that like
selling out shows, people outside still trying to get in. Hey, man.
I don't think I'll ever be used to that, fam.
That's
like,
good, because it'll always feel. It should never get old. It should never get old, man.
You know, it's funny because when I think of stuff like that, I think of people like you. You know what I'm saying? Like I think of like, it's Blueprint Show, of course. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't think of me. I think of like, you know, I think I'm in the audience for your show. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we announced it at the show, and you know, we got a whole bunch of downloads and subscribers, and that was the beginning of that era, you know?
Yeah. So let's talk about like the testing part of it, because some people might say, okay, well, even if I could do it or find someone to do it, how do you make sure it works on iPhones, Android? So how did you navigate that? How did you get people to test it? Was it just within the crew? How did you test it?
I had a whole bunch of testers. My team, which has a variety of different phones, different ages, different OSs. My man Sean Dammit, he helped me out a lot with it. Definitely, you know, Zara and Midas, you know, anybody I knew who could keep a secret. You know what I'm saying? I hit him up like, yo, download this. Tell me what you think. And people at first were like, what is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on an app. So check this, you know, check this out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, you know, I had, at the time, Zara and Midas were like Android warriors, you know what I'm saying? So they were holding down my Android testing, and
are they iPhone now or something like that? Are they iPhone now? They
so Zard moved on to the iPhone. Midas is never going out. You know what I'm saying? So
you better come on in,
man. Tell this man, dog. Tell this man. Midas was good.
I know. You know come on in, boo. iPhone team. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Once you go back, you never go back.
Man, facts. You know what I'm saying? Ultra facts. Yeah, but they did my testing for that, man. And yeah, it was really just testing it on, you know, I found that the real test was like older phones and older OSs. You know, also how much space you had on your phone to develop or to go to specific processes.
Okay.
Like those were the real variants. It was really like creating a video game for your computer, and you know it works on like the latest computer, but then it's always somebody with this 386, you know what I'm saying, from 1994. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, why isn't it working, bro? And then you gotta
yeah. So how about like because when I would think about it doing an app, one of the things I would think, well, okay, you know, you see apps on the iStore, on the App Store, right? You see apps there and you're just like, that must be hard to get there. How hard is it to get there, to get approved, or to be on the iTunes App Store or something like that?
So, as one might suspect, it is relatively easy for Google. Like to get in to get in the Google Play Store is kind of like, yo, I got an app, and just throwing it over there and just, you know, filling out a couple forms and that's it.
Yeah.
But for Apple, it's a little bit different. You know, they need you to have some policies in place and this and that, and you gotta be an Apple developer. There's like $100 a year membership you have to pay for that.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's not a lot of red tape, but it's definitely red tape. You
Sounds like they're shaking you down a little bit. They shaking.
That's what it really is. Oh, you trying to beat it down with us? Yeah. Nah, man, you got to pay. Like,
tapping them pockets.
Yeah, that's what it really is. You know, and so they also ask you more questions on the way in, like in terms of like safety and child, you know, who is this going to be going to? Are you going to be advertising in it? Is this money involved? What kind of data are you going to be able to get from the people who hold your app? Yeah. All that stuff. They're just a lot more in depth with that stuff. So yeah, but it's doable, you know.
Yeah. And how long did that process take dealing with them from the time you submitted and all that? Was it a long process to get it approved?
Maybe like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was, and I think I had done so much research on it, just mad YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You know, I had done so much research on it that I was kind of aware of what to say, how to say it, when to, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know, but even though it was not bad at 2 weeks, you're still checking your account like every 24 hours. Like, you know, they're going to reject me. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely trying to have this out by the time the album dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're trying to launch it a specific way, so you kind of need to know. So how much of a part did like YouTube play in learning? Because I mean, obviously you went to school for computer science, but as you and I know, there's different languages for different platforms. And so did you have to augment what you knew, or were you able to code in a language that you were familiar with to make the app?
There was a lot of learning involved. Okay. The platform, or the way that we went about organizing it, I think was a bit simpler in the beginning. It was a lot simpler than it is now.
Okay.
In the beginning. Now it's so many branches, and you know, I built on it over time. But in the beginning, it was pretty simple. I mean, it's weird. Like, it's kind of hard to measure like the ratio of knowledge that I walked into it with versus knowledge that I gained. Yeah. Because a lot of the knowledge that I gained, while technically may have been a lot of knowledge, it was relatively easy knowledge because of what I walked into there with. Right. So I was able to be like, okay, yes, CSS, you know, this is this, and blah, 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 and kind of just work with it like that. I definitely had to learn some new tricks here and there. But what I say, you know what I really want to say?
What?
If you're old enough to have had a MySpace page,
Yeah.
and you were able to flip that MySpace page on some HTML vibes, you can probably do this.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that era.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. MySpace made us all programmers, fam.
Oh, yeah, we was pimping out the pages over there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
right click, view source. You had the matrix, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, MySpace died as soon as my page got fired. My page was I was like, yo, where's the traffic? I remodeled my house and everybody moved out the neighborhood.
Yeah, man. We were definitely MySpace trapping, man. Me and Midas, for sure.
Loved it over there, man. Okay, so we'll take a break real quick and we'll come back and I want to talk about just like the specific programming that you guys are doing over there and just the response to the app so far. And so we'll take a break and we'll be right back. While I got y'all here, I want to give you a quick reminder that my first 3 books have been repressed and are available again on waitlist.net. Book number 1, Word is Blog, Volume 1. This book is a collection of some of my best blogs and writings online, assembled into book form. Second book is Adventures in Counterculture, The Making of Adventures in Counterculture. This book is about my 2011 album titled Adventures in Counterculture. This book talks about the 4-year period that it took me to make that album, the personal and artistic changes that it took. If you're into some artistic reading, this is for you. And then the third book, which is available again, is What a Night, a book about the worst shows of my career. This book is, as it says, it's a book about the worst shows of my career, but it's actually a pretty funny book. Some stories in here are just tragic or bugged out, but overall, this book will have you cracking up. So if you need some light reading, something that will just make you laugh, and if you've ever wondered what happens on the road with artists, pick up this book. All 3 are available, $10 each. However, you can get all 3 of them for just $25 right now. If you want them signed, please put some instructions in the special instructions box and ask me to sign them, and I'll get them signed before I get them out to you. And I think they might have a checkbox for all 3 that allows you to get them signed. So that's it for now. Back to the show. Okay, folks, we are back. Super Duty Tough Work. Yeah, interviews. Y'all know what we do. If you're at home, you should be taking notes. Or you should just be inspired. You can run this back. We got IMAKEMADBEATS here, you know, and we've been talking about building his team. We talked about building his app. And I want to talk about the programming that you guys are doing on there. I've seen podcasts. I've seen almost like a TV, like web series type stuff. You guys have radio. You have your fans have the ability to submit stuff to your radio programming, right?
Yep.
You have merch, you have normal stuff that everyone else has, like, you know, music videos, songs to stream. What was that your original vision for the app when you came up with it? Or was it just develop over time?
Nah, that was definitely I don't think I was able to carry out the vision. I had to take it in steps. But that was definitely the vision from the top, you know, to create something programmable. You know, one thing, again, I'm really big into community. A lot of what we're doing now is very community oriented. And one thing that I learned years ago, if you want a space that you want people to come to, right? So let's say you have a venue or, you know, some sort of community-based space that you want to throw events at. If you want people to value that space and come through to that space, you also have to create room for them to program it to some extent, right? So them having some sense of ownership in the space in terms of what can happen there, plays a big role in how people feel about the space altogether. And so for my app, that's what I wanted. You know, so much of what I do is just trying to help me 20 years ago, you know, and, you know, there's kids right now walking down the street that's me 20 years ago. And, you know, and so a space for artists to submit off the wall, crazy shit that they wouldn't, you know, maybe even release, you know what I'm saying? I wanted something like that because that's where the magic is. I'm never going to forget, you know, being in high school and there was this pirate radio station here. you had to like tilt the antenna a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. It was me and Czar, and we were in our townhouse, and I was listening to this show, and that's how I discovered Planet Asia. You know what I'm saying? And Rasco. That's how I heard Yeshua the Poe D and Saya, right? Gravity.
Classic EP.
When I heard Gravity, I was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like, yo, this is the underground. Like, this is like, you know, this, I felt like I was entering this world of discovery. And, you know, and there's such an availability for things now. For me, the new underground is people's hard drives. It's stuff that they wouldn't release. It's not pretty enough for Spotify and to put an advertising campaign. They don't even know if they want to mix it, right? But there's probably magic in that. You know, it's funny. Let's go back to the song, man. That we did together. You know what I'm saying? Perspective. Yeah. Let's go back to that right quick. So, really quick story about that. Like, when Blueprint hit me for that beat, I wasn't done making it. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's what I do. I try to be really vulnerable on my social media. I just post clips of shit I'm not even done with. Like I just put the drums on it. That was it. I'm gonna post up a clip. This man hit me up immediately. Yo, what's up with that beat? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm pretty sure I told him like, yo, I'm you know, I don't think I'm done with it yet. I'll send it to you when I'm done. He was like, man, send it through it the way it is. I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And I sent it through, and I remember thinking like, I don't know what he about to do with this. He sent the track back. I was like, what is, you know, I was so hyped off this. I remember, son, I immediately sent that to Midas. Like, yo, peep this. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember I hit you up, and I was like, yo, man, like, you want the stems for the mix? You know what I'm saying? And you was like, actually, bro, this sounds great. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, all right, you know what I'm saying?
Two-track.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? and I think, you know, we get so caught up in this. I am an engineer, so I do like my stuff, you know, mixed and stuff. But a lot of magic can sometimes be ruined in a mix. Sometimes you got to leave that junk raw.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And working with Blueprint was one of those instances where even I had to learn that. Like, yo, there's no other way this song should have sounded.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Especially once he dropped the video, I was like, nah, bro. This is the way it was supposed to go down.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create a lane for that, and that's our radio station in the app was that. It's all unmixed, unmastered, unfinished songs by art, you know, from artists. The, you know, stuff that Mono Neon did an album with us. He recorded it on his iPhone. We were outside just doing a jam session. He recorded it on his iPhone, and then he dropped the album.
Wow.
And it went crazy. People loved it. People were, and again, it just reinforces that, like, not everything has to be Michael Jackson level produced. Like,
it's true. I mean, look, man, all of my biggest songs are like that. I have stuff where I've put in an incredible amount of time writing, just laboring over it. And the response I get, the shit I made just in the moment, not even overthinking, it's just always better. Yeah. It got to the point where I just had to talk myself out of it too, because I'll sit there on a song and be like, yeah, but the rhyme ain't quite perfect yet. I'm waiting on this thing to come to me. I don't have now I'm just like, nah, record it, because you never know. Like that whole album that song is on, I don't know I think I might have only tracked out 2 songs on it. There's beats on that record that are 10 years old MPC beats that I lost the zips for, and I just rapped over them and it works. But sometimes there's this weird thing. I think people can tell the energy of something that doesn't feel like it's been overthought. Like I think they can tell. It's hard for us to tell, but they can tell, you know?
That's the thing, that like you spend so much time as a scientist of your craft that it's hard to not dive into it from a scientist's perspective, right? But the thing, and this is why Unapologetic is labeled the way it is where vulnerability becomes art and weird becomes genius. Like when people ask us like, what is our genre? We always say vulnerability and sincerity, right? Because I truly believe that when you're vulnerable, when you're real about something, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that trumps talent. I think that trumps like, polish. I think that when people, that's why I always say like, I don't want to put out music that I didn't have fun making, because I feel like people can hear the fun.
Yes.
Right? The same way you can kind of hear somebody smiling on a phone call.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like that's, or whatever the emotion it is that I want to convey with the song, I want the creation of it to also be a performance of that as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've definitely had artists who are trying to make songs like they're sad and drunk because of something happened or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'll be like, you're sad, but you're not drunk. You know what I'm saying? and people will be able to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So if you still drink, which you do,
yeah, have at it.
You know what I'm saying?
Then hop in the booth.
let's make it real. Like let's make sure it's sincere.
Yeah.
So I really value that for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. So thus far, you've had the app for 4 years. You can compare it now to your website. And what has been the response so far that you've seen?
It's been crazy. It's such a like it's such a it's just such a cool thing, man. Like, I don't think I have a feeling that a lot is about to change with some projects that we're working on now. I'm hopeful that a lot is about to change with some projects we're working on now, because we're working on some stuff that I think will change a lot for us. But it just feels like such a blessing and such a unique thing to have that level of connection with the people who are interested in you. That's something I never take for granted. Like I'm just the type of person where, when people say something I did is dope, that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just be so thankful, bro. Like for real. You know what I'm saying? And if you hand me a shoelace right now, I'm gonna be like, fam, what I owe you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so
gratitude.
That's just who I say, man. Like I'm, the things we've been through, you just be thankful, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so to have thousands of people who will take it a step further past Instagram, and past Twitter, to get a bigger idea of who you are and what you are, and then like wants to get those push notifications, right? Wants to give you that email account and be engaged on a deeper level with what you're doing. Wants to be in the know before everybody else. Like it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing. It's helped us build community. It's helped us build a connection with our fans that isn't dependent upon anything or anyone else, which is scary to other organizations. You're immediately a threat.
Yeah, because they make a living off of being the go-between, right?
And so having that level of connection with the people who are interested in you, it changes what's possible for you and your organization, because other organizations who, may think you're cool and they may like what you're doing, they're going to be a lot more likely to pay you to do work for them, to have access to the level of connectivity you have with your thousands of fans or supporters.
Yeah.
So it works out, economically.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. So let's talk about, this is just things I thought about that are the main benefits of having an app. And some of we touched on, but the first benefit, and I'll make this point and I'd like to hear you comment on it, is the ability to make exclusive content. And so it seems to me like everyone else is chasing Instagram likes. People are trying to figure out the algorithms on Facebook. People are trying to, like all of these rules, but it seems like, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I release my content differently to each platform?
Yeah.
How do I mold my vision and make it fit inside this thing? It seems to me like you no longer have to do that with your content. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll say we no longer have to do that as much. Like we definitely established, that lane there. We're definitely still about growth. We're definitely still about refining the funnel to getting people to the app. Right.
Okay.
So we got to care about those front doorways of social media, website, email marketing, all of that stuff. Once we get people to the app, we won. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's when I know if you reach that point, we have you as a fan and as a supporter.
Yeah.
It's definitely liberating to not have to depend on these platforms to get, like right now I could pull up the app and be like, hey, I remember a couple years ago we were like, we're all gonna get cookies at this one shop. Come and talk to us there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was never on social media. It wasn't public information. But then we go to the spot and there's people there that just want to meet and talk to us.
That's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, it's liberating to not have to deal with those other platforms and their rules. It's dope. It's dope. But we have to keep building that.
Yeah, and what you just touched on was like my second I thought, which was you get a more direct connection with your fans, right? Because
absolutely,
as you mentioned, most people are looking at getting liked on Facebook, getting followed on Twitter, etc., as the end.
Yeah,
you're looking at that as the start.
Absolutely, that's
the
app
front door.
is
the end, right?
Yeah, the app is the end.
And when they get there, that because the content is so real and it's right there on the phone, and the phone is like, this is the most personal thing now.
Yeah,
it's almost like getting somebody's phone number. That you now have a more direct connection.
I mean, in a literal sense too. Like one of the coolest functions I think of the app is that you can direct message people. You can direct message other people with the app. You can hit me up.
Wow.
I tell people all the time, like, if you're thinking about hitting me up to purchase something from me or Unapologetic, the best thing you can do is hit me up in the app. I'll give you a different price.
Yeah.
I will. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll give you because if you have the app, you're not just some random person, whatever. That means you've paid attention and you've bought in and you followed it and you know what we're about. You get us. Which means that I'm probably going to enjoy working with you a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I tell people all the time, like, you want to get my attention? You hit me up on Instagram DM. Yeah, man, I might get to you, you know what I'm saying, in a couple of days, whatever. You hit me up through the app, I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you really do get that kind of direct access to me and other people in the team. So and another thing too, I'm never going to forget my man, Kid Maestro. He was talking to me about Knowledge, the producer, and he was saying how much like one of the key reasons why he loves Knowledge is not that he loves everything Knowledge has produced, but he was just like, when you look up Knowledge on Spotify or on Bandcamp, there's just like hundreds and hundreds of beats and hundreds of tapes that you can just scroll and just keep discovering, and so to make a central place with all of our videos, all of our content, all of that, where people can just scroll and listen to random stuff. And, like you said, like that app is like, it's literally walking into Unapologetic world.
Yeah.
So to do that is just to create a deeper relationship,
Yeah, that's awesome. And okay. And then the third one I got is no gatekeepers. We spoke about it a little bit before, in that when you really look at social media, they're making artists pay for reach. You have to get your post to adhere to their formats whether that's via your text placement, the types of images, with all these rules and games.
When you post,
it's like an elaborate game, and the game changes Constantly. It's like a moving fucking target. You know, it's like, I thought I knew how to hit the target. Yeah, cool. It's across the street now. And so you got to learn all over again. And now it's up in the tree. Like, oh, well, shit. I just learned how to shoot it right there. Sorry. But and in that, you have all these gatekeepers. You have the people saying, hey, pay me to help you get reach. Pay me to get you on this playlist.
Pay me to get the blue check mark. That's the latest.
Come on.
yeah. You know,
let's to prove who I am.
The playlist and stuff too is wild. That whole game, like, it's, you know, and I'm not knocking anybody who wants to go that route.
Yeah.
I just knew I didn't want to go that route.
Right.
You know,
right.
I didn't want to go that route. But more specifically, and here's the thing, right? When you go those routes, even if you do get that initial attention that you're looking for, you don't get what is the most valuable thing, the data.
Thank you.
You don't get that. You don't get the data. You
say it again for the people in the back. I don't think they heard you. People in the back, please say that again.
Yeah, you might get the attention, but you don't get the data, and the data is the most important thing in any of this transactions. Like, it is 100% the most important thing.
Bars. They don't understand. The data is more valuable than anything.
100%. Like, there's a reason why these free apps are the most important apps ever. It's because they shuffle in data.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They would much rather get your data than $1.
Yeah.
You know, and these data mines become, you know, the most powerful companies in the United States.
Yeah.
In the world. So, you know, I think for me, again, while I'm not Google, I'm not Facebook, for me to know who's interested in me, know where you are, when you know, your email account, like when you opted in, you know, where you going in my app, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of those things allow me to create marketing plans, and, you know, that allow me to, when it's time to sell merchandise, when it's time to advertise a product, or when it's time to do whatever, I'm not guessing in the wind. I'm not hoping at something. I'm actually making decisions based off of quantifiable data. And for all of you, and I'm gonna speak to, I'm gonna keep it ultra real right quick. One of my friends, a very accomplished man, he told me something a few months back that it's just been circling around in my head ever since he told me. I wake up thinking about this. We were talking about business and entrepreneurship, and we were talking about growth, scaling a business. And let's be clear here: if we're independent artists, we're all businesses, right?
Facts.
So he was telling me that he was saying, yo, he was telling me that he thought I was one of the smartest people he had ever met, but he was saying that being smart doesn't necessarily mean you have a successful business. Right? He was
that's a
so I took the compliment, but then I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I had, and he was like, let me explain. He was saying that idiots run amazing companies. And he was like, you know how they do that? He was like, because they have systems that idiot-proof their business. So I was like, well, yeah, okay, so tell me about that. You know what I'm saying? He was basically saying that systems, which are nothing more than efficient instructions on how to do things, right? Right. And if you flood those systems with quantifiable data, right? So it's how to do things, and then here's what works and what doesn't work based off the data. And then you run it through these systems. You're idiot-proofing your company.
Yes.
And he was saying this is how rich people stay rich and keep getting. Yeah. It's not that they're brilliant or they notice something on the ground, a movement in the culture, et cetera, et cetera. No, they just have access to top-tier level data and systems to where they can make mathematical decisions on what to do. Actually, they don't even make the decisions. The data makes the decision.
Yeah. And they can automatically scale because they have the systems. No systems, no scale.
Absolutely.
You can't do anything at scale without systems in place.
Right. And you can't fuel a system without data.
Yes.
So even if your data is just 100, things in a spreadsheet, like having that immediately makes you much more efficient and much more focused on where your money goes. You can spend $1,000 in advertising and get nothing because you didn't take the time to get the accurate data.
It's facts. And the way social media is set up, for all the artists at home listening to this, I'll give you a practical example of this is a platform like Bandcamp, which I use and love. But at the end of the day, you collect email addresses on Bandcamp, but your email address is not the one that your emails come from when you send a blast out to your fans. That means that even if you export all those names and put it into your mail program and send out a blast from yourself, half of them might get put into the junk folder. Your fans might not even get them. You know what I mean? And that's because they built a system for collecting those fans, and they send them their download links, so they're safe. But because you use the middleman, you still almost have a barrier in between you and a direct connection between your fans. That's just one example. Yeah. And I love Bandcamp, but that's part of the reason why I started selling my MP3s directly on my website, was because I was like, I need to allow people to correspond directly with me, and then I can hit them up more effectively that way. But yeah, your friend is exactly right. Because you don't got to be a genius to run a great business, but you do need systems in place.
Absolutely, man. And then, just piggybacking off of what you just said, the first thing you got to do before you get the systems and the data is you have to emotionally come to the conclusion that you have to build the platform. You have to build the thing, right? So, like, I mean, if you really want something sustaining, you can't just go to the spot that's set up for you. Like, you have to create the spot. Like, you have to really do that due diligence to create that machine to collect these email accounts or whatever it is, whatever data that you're getting.
Yep.
You have to emotionally dedicate yourself to, I am going to be an owner. I am going to be an owner. I'm not going to be a renter or a leaser. I have to own. And if I have to own, then that means I have to cut the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have to do this, I have to do that, et cetera, et cetera. Or I have to own the systems that do that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I think that when I think about independent artists, I think that that's the part that gets left out, is the coming to the conclusion. Mm-hmm. Okay, am I willing to do this or not? Right? And again, you can have success either way, you know what I'm saying? Depending on how you define success. I just know that the people who have the longest lasting and sustaining success, they always were much more intentional about how much they owned early on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. Yeah, so well said. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think I should add anything to that. That's good night, folks. Peace, get out of here. That's amazing. So what we'll do now is one last question to the artists at home who may have heard you. What would your advice be to them if they were to ask you, is building an app worth it? What would you say to them?
I would say absolutely. I mean, I would say it depends on what you want to do with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think if you want to create something, I'll just say this: if you want to build an app for people to go and listen to your music, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
Spotify. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't really speak from that experience, but right off top, I would be uninterested in that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're building something that is a machine to feed multiple parts of your business, not just giving them another place to listen to what they could already listen to on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be something that, again, getting people off of these already established platforms is not easy. Like it's not easy. And so if you're gonna do that, you're gonna need something that's attractive to do that, that's not available on these platforms, and you're gonna need a way to capitalize off the fact that they did it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if you're willing to do more than that, and you're willing to really aim to build that Kenny Beats on Twitch-esque approach to things, you know what I'm saying? Then yes, absolutely do it, and then be prepared to adapt.
Yeah.
Be prepared to adapt. Yeah.
That's key. Well, dope, man. Well, tell the people where to find you at, Unapologetic, and everyone. Tell people where to find you and follow you at.
Any platform at IMAKEMADBEATS.
One word.
Yes, one word. No, and not no Z at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like
super hip hop.
I make mad beats. Yeah, it's phonetically spelled, all one word.
Yeah.
You can find us at weareunapologetic.com as well. And to get the app, just search for Unapologetic World. It's available for iOS and Android devices. Find me and say what up.
Yeah. Follow this man. Yeah, and he does post beats and all the time, chord progressions for all of you who, my chords need work, which is why I don't post any chord progressions.
I'm such a jazz guy, bro. It's all about I'm just jazz.
I'll be like, damn, chords is mean. I need those. But follow him and support him and his crew. They do a lot of amazing music. It's not just rappers. He's got rappers, singers, like a whole producers over there. It's a whole entourage, and they're really I don't want to say putting Memphis on the map because, I don't even think they would necessarily say that, but they are innovating and establishing something that has never been done there. And I think we should be supporting them and everything that they do because it's dope shit and it should inspire everyone who's watching it, as it has inspired me greatly. And so, I want to thank y'all for listening, and I think we will see y'all next week. And so, peace.
Salute.
Thank you for listening to Super Duty Tough Work. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow the podcast on SoundCloud. Peace.
Shoot, I got styles already that's more complex that nobody know about. I mean, Super Duty Tough Work.